Hey guys, today's August 31st, and we're going to be going over inequalities, how to formulate inequalities, how to solve inequalities, graph inequalities, pretty much everything with inequalities today. So the first symbol that we're going to look at is right here. This symbol we say is less than. So inside this box, you're going to type in the word less than. And I'm going to make that a little bit bigger because it's kind of hard to see. You can go here and just make your text larger. The next box, that symbol stands for greater than. Okay, on the third box, this symbol is less than or equal to. On the last box, that symbol right there is greater than or equal to. What I want you to do now is to see if you can figure out where these words would go. So starting with the word under. If I were to grab under, I want to go ahead and drag it to which section I think it belongs to. Under is another way of saying less than, so it would go in this box right here with less than. So you're going to follow the same process for the rest of those boxes. Go ahead and pause this video so you can try that. Okay, so in our less than section, you should have went ahead and placed under, below, and fewer than in that section. The next one, greater than, should have above, exceeds, more than, and over. Less than or equal to is at most, up to, no more than, does not exceed. And greater than or equal to will have no less than, no fewer than, and at least. Moving on to page 2, write the following statements using an inequality. So Jared saved less than $20. So here they're saying less than, so we're going to use a symbol. I'm going to use J for Jared's saved less than 20. This is how you would write it using an inequality. The next one says Julie saved at most $20. So for this one, at most is less than or equal to. If you forgot, you can always go back over here to the page that we did before and look for the word at most. If the most she has is $20, that means that she can't have more than that. So less than or equal to. Now, when I type that in for this problem, since it's less than or equal to, that's not in my keyboard. So we're going to have to go back to add-ons, and we're going to go to the Hypatia and insert or edit your text. So for this one, we're going to put J is less than or equal to. To get your inequality, you're going to have to go where it says plus or minus, and in there you're going to have a whole bunch of inequalities that pop up. So if she has at most $20, you're going to click less than or equal to 20 and click insert. Once you've clicked insert, you can go ahead and exit out of here because it's going to go ahead and dump it into your notes. So here it is right there. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it to where I want it to go. So it goes right here in this box. Okay, the next one, Jenna saved more than $20. So more than, that's greater than. So I'm going to double click in here and I'm going to put Jenna saved more than 20. J is greater than 20. Okay, the last one, for example, 4, John saved at least $20. If he has at least $20, that means that he has $20 or more because that's the least amount that he has. I mean, that's the lowest amount that he could have. So he has that amount or higher. So in our add-ons, we're going to go back over here. We're going to go to Hypatia and insert text. Okay, so John saved at least $20. It's J is greater than or equal to 20. For the bottom portion, it says determine the amount of money in each box, then complete the following chart. So you need to figure out how much money is in A, how much money is in B, and how much money is in C. Now, since there's no text box, you can go ahead and click here and just add your own text box. And we're going to go ahead and just put how much money is inside the first box. So looking at box A, it has a dime, a nickel, and a penny. So that's 16 cents. So we're just going to go ahead and type in 16 cents. I'm going to do the same process for B and for C. So adding another text box, we're going to come over to B and we're going to figure out how much money is in there, 15 cents. And then the same process for C. So over here, this one has 17 cents. Okay, for example 5, we got to figure out which box contains at least 16 cents. So I'm going to grab this little box right here and I'm going to highlight the section that they're talking about. So the key word here is at least. So I have to figure out which boxes have at least 16 cents. So that would be boxes A and box C. So I'm going to put here boxes that define the statement A and C. The word at least means greater than or equal to. So we're going to go ahead and just type our inequality in here. So since it does have a greater than or equal to, I will have to go back to my add-ons to type this one in. For example 6, it says the box contains less than 16 cents. So the key word here is less than. So we're going to highlight the word less than. In the box, we have to figure out which boxes have less than 16 cents. So looking up there, the only box that has less than 16 cents is box B. And then we're going to come over here and write our inequality. So X, which means that the box has less than 16 cents. That's how we would write it as an inequality. Okay, for the next one, example 7, the box contains at most 16 cents. So the most that it could have, which means the biggest number, 16. So the most that it can have is 16 cents, means that A and B would fit that scenario. For the statement or our inequality, we have to go ahead and go to our tools, the add-ons, and insert our inequality. So X has to be less than or equal to 16. Example 8, the box contains greater than 16 cents. So the key word here is greater than. So we have to figure out which one, and I'm going to make this box a little bit bigger so it's highlighting the whole thing. Which box has greater than 16 cents, which means more than 16, is C. So over here, we're going to go ahead and type our inequality, X, the box that has more than 16 cents. Okay, go ahead and try example 9 and 10 without me. So for example 9, the box that has no more than 16 cents is A and B. You can't have more than 16, so A has exactly 16 and B doesn't have more than 16. So our inequality would be X is less than or equal to 16. For example 10, this box has no less than 16 cents, so it can't be below 16, which means that A and C are the correct boxes. So X has to be greater than or equal to 16. If you're still confused on these key words that are highlighted right here, you need to go back to page 1 and make sure that you review those key words right here. If you have to, make flashcards so you can study them so you know which inequality to use when we have those special keywords. So I'm going to go on to page 3. So on page 3, we're going to solve the inequalities below, show your work, and graph the inequalities on the number line. So for example 11, we have X plus 2 is less than 6. So on example 11, X plus 2 is less than 6. The opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. So we're going to go ahead and put minus 2 on both sides of the inequality. So very similar to an equation, we're going to take away 2 from both sides. So X has to be less than 4. We could go ahead and input that into our text box right here. X has to be less than 4. So I'm going to double click that. X is less than 4. Now we're going to go ahead and graph it. So we want to put a dot at 4. Now because it's below 4 and it can't be equal to 4, it's going to be an open circle. Notice that I have all those circles over there. Over here on this side, you're going to drag one of those circles, whether it's open or closed. Since it's less than 4, it has to have an open circle because it cannot be equal to 4. And then next, we're going to shade the number line to show all the values less than 4, which are this way to the left. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to insert a shape. And we're going to go ahead and click. Actually, I'm going to select a line right here so I can click an arrow, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my arrow going this way to the left because all numbers less than 4 are to the left. And I'm going to change the color to make it a red so that way we can see it. And I'm going to make the font a little bit bigger, so 4 points so you can see it. So all the X's less than 4 are possible for that solution for example 11. Okay, example 12. On example 12, we have X minus 5 is greater than 1. So same process, you pretend like that's like an equal sign. The opposite of minus 5 is to add 5. So I'm going to add 5 over here. So my X has to be greater than 4. So for this example, if x is greater than 4, we're going to go ahead and type that into our box for the solution. So x is greater than 4. And then because it's greater than 4, it can't be equal to 4. It's going to also be an open circle on 4. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put an open circle right at 4. And I have to figure out where all the numbers greater than 4. All the numbers greater than 4 are to the right over here. So I'm going to go back to my line, select a line, and I'm going to grab an arrow. And all the numbers greater than 4 are to the right. So I'm going to draw my arrow to the right. All those numbers would be shaded. Again, I'm going to change it to red, make it a little bit bigger, so 4 point, so that we can actually see it. So all x is greater than 4. Notice it's open at 4 and shaded to the right. Okay, for example, 13. For this one, we have 2x plus 1 is less than or equal to 11. So for this example, it's a two-step inequality. So it's very similar to what we did on equations. We're going to take away 1 because the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. And we have 2x is less than or equal to 10. Then we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 2. So we get x is less than or equal to 5. So I'm going to input that into my text box right here. X is less than or equal to 5. Again, since it has that inequality with the equal sign, I'm going to have to go insert the text box. So x is less than or equal to 5. Now we're going to graph it. So because all my dots are up here, I'm just going to go scroll back up. I'm going to select all my dots, and I'm going to drag them back down here so that I could see them for problem number 13 and problem number 14. So again, we said all of our x's are less than or equal to 5. If it's equal to 5, it's a closed circle. It can be equal to 5, and it's all values less than or equal to that. So notice that I picked the solid circle because it can be equal to 5 and anything less than it. So that's everything to the left. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to click our arrow, and we're going to draw our arrow going to the left. All values less than or equal to 5. Again, I'm going to change my line, make it a red line just so it's brighter. 4-point font. There we go. All x's less than or equal to 5. Okay, problem 14. On problem 14, we're going to use the same process that we did for 13. It's like solving a two-step equation. So the opposite of plus 7 is to take away 7. So we end up with 3x is greater than or equal to 12. And then we're going to divide by 3. So then x has to be greater than or equal to 4. So now we're going to input that into our text box. Again, you go to your add-ons so you can type in x is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so for this one, greater than or equal to 4, we're going to go to 4, and we're going to put a solid dot on 4 because it can be equal to 4, so it's completely closed, and it's all x is greater than or equal to that. Greater than or equal to is going to be shaded to the right. All numbers bigger than 4, so we're going to come back over here. We're going to grab our arrow, and we're going to shade all the values to the right, which are greater than 4. So remember that you need to... Sorry about that. Let me fix this. And there we have it. I'm going to go back up to number 12 because I just noticed that I made a mistake here on number 12. I did add 5, but I'm sorry. I put 1 plus 5 is 4. It really is not 4. So that should be 5. So here I'm going to go back and I'm just going to fix that. The answer should be x is greater than 5. Sorry, 6. Right there, 6. So x has to be greater than 6. And I'm going to fix that right here also. So x has to be greater than 6. And then down here, if it's greater than 6, we also need to move our arrow and move our dot to fix that to reflect that all x values are greater than 6. Okay, so you guys are going to practice on inequalities today. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm doing my best, so just bear with me. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Bye, guys.